You ever notice how the loudest people in the room are usually the ones who lost?
They scream.
They point fingers. They call you cold because they never saw the move coming. See, while they were busy laughing, doubting, whispering your name like it was a joke, you were planning something beautiful, something quiet. No noise, no drama, just precision, just patience, just that dangerous kind of intelligence they only recognize after it's too late. They thought you were losing your mind, but you were just playing a different game. And now they're calling it cold-blooded. Not because you were cruel, but because you didn't panic. You didn't beg. You didn't react. You calculated. You waited. And when the moment came, you did it so clean, they can't even figure out where they went wrong. So tonight, this isn't just a speech. This is a story about silent power, about controlled chaos, about what happens when someone they underestimated stops playing nice. And trust me, the scary part isn't what you did, it's how calm you were while doing it. Silence is where real power starts. Most people think strength is loud. They think power is shouting, proving, explaining, defending every little thing they say or do. They think the one making the most noise is the one in control. But that's the first mistake amateurs make. Noise is usually fear wearing a costume. Silence now, that's confidence without needing witnesses. While everyone else is busy announcing their next move, the dangerous person is the one saying nothing, watching, learning, memorizing patterns. Because when you stop talking, you start seeing. You notice who switches up when pressure enters the room. You notice fake loyalty. You notice who only smiles when they need something. Silence turns you into an observer, and observers always have the advantage. People get uncomfortable when you don't react. That's when psychology starts working in your favor. When you don't explain yourself, they start explaining you. When you don't respond, they start creating stories. When you stay calm, they start losing control. It's almost funny how fast people reveal themselves when they can't read you. The most battles are lost because someone talked too much. They revealed their anger. They showed their plans. They exposed their fears. They reacted too quickly because their ego needed attention. But when you master silence, you remove the biggest weapon your opposition hopes you'll use against yourself, your own mouth. There is something terrifying about a person who can stay calm while others are emotional. Because emotional people are predictable. Calm people are not. Emotional people rush. Calm people calculate. Emotional people want instant satisfaction. Calm people understand timing is everything. And timing is what makes simple actions look like genius moves. Silence also protects your energy. Not every opinion deserves your response. Not every insult deserves your reaction. Not every challenge deserves your attention. Sometimes the strongest response is none at all. Because when you refuse to perform, you refuse to give your enemies a stage. And the truth most people learn too late is this: when you argue with everyone, you become accessible. When you explain everything, you become readable. But when you move in silence, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability creates fear without you even trying. Watch how people react when you stop explaining yourself. Some will respect it. Some will fear it. Some will try harder to provoke you because they need a reaction to feel important. That's when discipline separates the players from the masters. Anyone can react. Very few can stay still when their ego is being tested. Silence is not weakness. Silence is restraint. It is knowing you could say something devastating, but choosing not to, because the moment is not valuable enough. It is having the intelligence to understand that reactions are expensive and not everyone can afford yours. The real strategy behind silence is simple: let people underestimate you. Let them think you don't see. Let them think you don't understand. Let them think you're passive. Because nothing shocks people more than realizing the quiet person understood everything the whole time. History always shows the same pattern. The ones who talk the most usually need validation. The ones who move quietly usually need results. And results make more noise than words ever could. There is also a certain freedom in silence. When you stop needing to prove yourself, you become dangerous. When you stop needing approval, you become independent. When you stop reacting emotionally, you become hard to manipulate. And a person who cannot be manipulated becomes impossible to control. Silence forces others to reveal their intentions first. It forces impatience to expose weakness. It forces arrogance to become sloppy. And while they rush to show their hands, you are still holding your cards, waiting for the perfect moment. Because the scariest thing in any psychological game is never aggression. It's composure. It's the person who smiles slightly, says nothing, and makes their move only when it matters. And by the time everyone finally understands what your silence meant, the game is already over. Emotions are powerful, but uncontrolled emotions are liabilities. Most people don't lose because they lack intelligence. They lose because they lack control. The moment feelings take over, logic leaves the room. Anger makes people rush. Fear makes people hesitate. Pride makes people blind, and desperation makes people predictable. Think about how easy it is to defeat someone who is emotional. All you have to do is provoke them. Say the right words, push the right insecurity, question their ego, and suddenly they start making mistakes for you. They stop thinking and start reacting. And the moment someone is reacting, they are no longer in control of the situation. You are. That's why emotional discipline is one of the rarest forms of power. Anyone can stay calm when things are easy. Anyone can smile when they are winning. But staying calm when disrespected, staying focused when doubted, staying patient when delayed, that's a different level of strength. That's the kind of strength that makes people dangerous without them needing to prove it. The truth is, emotions themselves are not the enemy. The real danger is letting them drive your decisions. Feeling anger is human. Feeling pain is human. Feeling frustration is human. But letting those emotions choose your actions is where people lose their advantage. Because emotions want immediate relief, while strategy wants long-term victory. Most people choose the satisfaction of the moment instead of the reward of the outcome. They respond to insults instantly. They try to win arguments instead of winning situations. They burn bridges just to feel powerful for 5 minutes. But those who think long-term understand something different. Sometimes the strongest move is swallowing your pride today so you can control the board tomorrow. Control is what separates chaos from calculation. When you are controlled, people cannot bait you. When you are controlled, pressure doesn't break you. When you are controlled, even your enemies start doubting their own strategies because nothing seems to shake you. There's something deeply unsettling about a person who refuses to react emotionally. Not because they don't feel, but because they choose when to show it. That kind of discipline creates psychological pressure. Because if someone cannot predict your reactions, they cannot manipulate your behavior. Weak players try to win with force. Smart players win with patience. Weak players want revenge immediately. Smart players wait for the perfect moment where success itself becomes the revenge. And that difference usually decides who stays ahead and who stays stuck. It also takes intelligence to understand that not everything deserves your full emotional investment. Some situations are distractions. Some people are tests. Some conflicts are traps designed to pull you down to a lower level where experience doesn't matter. Only reactions do. And once you react emotionally in those situations, you've already lost the advantage. There is a cold truth about life most people avoid. The calmer you become, the clearer you see. The clearer you see, the better you decide. And the better you decide, the harder it becomes for anyone to defeat you mentally. This doesn't mean becoming heartless. It means becoming selective. Selective about what deserves your anger. Selective about what deserves your time. Selective about what deserves your response. Because when everything gets a reaction, your reactions lose value. People who master themselves understand that real battles are rarely physical. They are psychological. They are about who breaks first under pressure, who loses patience first, who gets offended first, who gets desperate first. And most of the time, the one who loses emotional control loses the entire game. That's why the most feared individuals are rarely the loudest or the most aggressive. They are the ones who look calm even when chaos surrounds them. The ones who listen more than they speak. The ones who don't show all their cards. The ones who understand that power is not about dominating others, it is about mastering yourself. Because at the highest level, every real victory starts the same way, with someone choosing control over reaction. There is something almost predictable about how people react when they see someone chasing something different. First, they laugh, not because they understand what you're doing, but because they don't. And when people don't understand something, they try to make it look small so they can feel comfortable staying the same. They laugh at your ideas. They laugh at your discipline. They laugh at your patience. They laugh at your vision because it doesn't match their limitations. It's easier for them to call you unrealistic than to admit they never had the courage to try. So they joke. They mock. They whisper. They treat your ambition like entertainment. But what they never realize is that while they were laughing, you were building. While they were talking, you were working. While they were doubting, you were improving in silence. That's the part they never see. Success always looks sudden to people who never watched the preparation. Most people want instant respect without surviving the phase of disrespect. They want recognition without resistance. But the truth is, almost every person who achieves something meaningful first goes through a period where nobody believes in them. That phase is not a curse. It's a filter. It separates those who need approval from those who need results. The being laughed at is often proof that you're early, not wrong. Every new idea looks crazy before it looks obvious. Every disciplined habit looks extreme before it looks admirable. Every focused person looks obsessed before they look successful. The timeline of respect usually starts with doubt. The dangerous part is not the laughter. The dangerous part is believing it. Because once someone starts accepting the low expectations others place on them, they start shrinking their own potential. They start playing safe. They start asking for permission. And slowly, they become exactly what everyone expected, average. But the ones who flip the story understand something powerful. They treat disrespect like fuel. They treat doubt like confirmation. They are walking a rare path. They don't waste time trying to convince everyone. They let time do the convincing. It takes a certain mentality to stay focused while being underestimated, to keep showing up when nobody is clapping, to keep improving when nobody is watching, to keep believing when nobody is agreeing. That kind of persistence creates a quiet confidence, not loud arrogance, not fake bravado. Just a deep understanding that consistency beats opinion. And then something interesting starts to happen. The same people who laughed start watching more closely. The same people who joked start asking questions. The same people who ignored you start noticing patterns. Because results have a strange way of changing people's attitudes without asking for their permission. Respect earned through results always hits differently than respect given through words. Because people can deny your ideas, but they cannot deny outcomes forever. At some point, proof becomes too obvious. At some point, progress becomes too visible. At some point, even the loudest critics become quiet observers. The real satisfaction never comes from proving them wrong loudly. It comes from outgrowing the need to prove anything at all. Because at some stage, you realize their laughter was never part of your journey. It was just background noise testing your focus. Winning in the end is rarely about a final moment. It's about surviving all the moments where quitting would have been easier. All the days where nobody noticed your effort. All the times where stopping would have been socially accepted. Endurance becomes the real victory long before recognition arrives. And when the tables finally turn, the psychology flips. The same people who laughed first now act like they always knew. Some will say they saw your potential. Some will say they supported you. Some will pretend they never doubted you at all. That's just how human nature protects pride. But by that point, something inside you has changed. You're no longer working for their approval. You're no longer motivated by their opinions. You're no longer distracted by their noise. Because somewhere along the way, you realized something simple but rare. The ones laughing at the beginning rarely understand what it takes to be standing at the end. There is something unsettling about a calm person in a tense situation. When pressure rises, most people show it immediately. Their voice changes. Their breathing changes. Their decisions become rushed. You can almost see the stress taking control of their thinking. But then there's always that one person who stays composed, who doesn't speed up, who doesn't panic. And that's the person everyone eventually starts watching. A calmness is often misunderstood. People think being calm means being passive or weak. They think it means not caring. But real calmness is not the absence of pressure. It is the mastery of it. It is feeling the same tension everyone else feels, but refusing to let it control your behavior. Anyone can be confident when everything is going their way. But when things start collapsing, when plans start failing, when expectations start breaking, that's when true mental strength shows itself. Because panic spreads fast. One emotional reaction can infect an entire group, but calmness spreads too. And when someone refuses to panic, it interrupts the chain reaction of fear. A calm mind processes information differently. Instead of focusing on the noise, it focuses on the details. Instead of reacting to the chaos, it searches for patterns. Because chaos always hides opportunity for the person who can slow down enough to see it. Most terrible decisions are made in emotional storms. People say things they cannot take back. They make choices they later regret. They destroy opportunities because they couldn't wait a little longer. But a calm thinker creates space between feeling and action. And inside that space is where intelligent decisions are born. There's also a psychological advantage to staying calm. When others see that pressure doesn't break you, they start doubting their ability to shake you. When people cannot intimidate you, they lose one of their biggest tools. Because intimidation only works on those who react to it. The scariest opponent is never the loudest one. It's the one who listens carefully, speaks slowly, and never seems rushed. Because that kind of behavior suggests preparation. It suggests confidence. It suggests that whatever is happening right now was already considered as a possibility. Calmness also forces mistakes from others. Emotional people often overplay their hand. They reveal too much. They try too hard. They become desperate for control. And desperation always leaves clues. But someone who is calm doesn't need to force anything. They just wait for the mistakes to appear. Patience is the hidden partner of calmness. Without patience, calmness is impossible. Because if you always need quick results, pressure will always control you. But when you understand that timing matters more than speed, you become comfortable waiting. And people who are comfortable waiting are very hard to defeat mentally. It also takes self-awareness to stay calm. You have to know your own triggers. You have to recognize when your ego wants to react. You have to notice when frustration is trying to take control. And you have to be honest enough with yourself to pause, instead of pretending you're immune to emotion. That pause is where the difference is made. That one moment where you choose not to reply instantly. That 1 second where you choose observation over reaction. That one decision where you choose strategy over pride. Those small moments of discipline create massive differences in outcomes. Calmness is also a form of quiet intimidation. Because when someone cannot rid stress on your face, they cannot measure your limits. When someone cannot see your fear, they cannot calculate your breaking point. And when someone cannot find your breaking point, they often start questioning their own strength instead. The most powerful moves rarely come from chaos. They come from clarity, and clarity only comes to those who can slow their minds down when everyone else is speeding up. That is why calm individuals often appear steps ahead. Not because they are faster thinkers, but because they are clearer thinkers. Over time, this kind of composure becomes part of your presence. People start trusting your decisions more. People start bringing problems to you because you don't add drama to difficulty. And even your competition starts being more careful around you because they know pressure alone will not defeat you. Because when a person learns how to remain steady while everything else is shaking, they stop being just another player in the chaos. Respect is a strange thing. Most people try to demand it, force it, or beg for it through words. They try to look powerful, sound important, or prove their worth by constantly reminding others of their value. But real respect rarely comes from what you say. It comes from what people slowly realize about you when you're not trying to convince them. At first, people test you. Not always directly, sometimes subtly. They watch how you react when ignored. They watch how you react when challenged. They watch how you react when things don't go your way. These little tests are rarely announced, but they are always happening. Because human nature is curious. People want to know where your limits are. Many fail these tests without even knowing they were being tested. They react too fast. They get defensive. They try to prove themselves too early. They reveal how badly they want approval. And the moment someone shows they desperately want validation, their value in the eyes of others often drops. But the ones who understand the game act differently. They don't rush to prove anything. They don't explain every move. They don't respond to every challenge. They understand that respect grows stronger when it is observed rather than requested. The real shift happens when people start realizing they cannot easily influence you. When pressure doesn't make you fold. When opinions don't make you change direction. When negativity doesn't make you lose focus. That's when curiosity turns into caution, because now they are dealing with someone who cannot be easily pushed into a reaction. There is also something psychological about consistency. Anyone can act strong for one day. Anyone can appear confident for one moment. But when someone sees that your discipline is not temporary, that your standards don't drop, that your behavior doesn't change based on who is watching, that's when your presence starts carrying weight. Respect also comes from boundaries. Not loud boundaries, not aggressive ones, just clear ones. Knowing what you tolerate and what you don't. Knowing when to walk away instead of arguing. Knowing when silence is stronger than confrontation. People may not like boundaries at first, but they always understand them eventually. And then comes the moment where the dynamic changes. The same people who once tried to test your patience start choosing their words more carefully. The same people who underestimated you start observing you more closely. The same people who once tried to challenge you start calculating risks before doing it again. That's when you realize respect was never about dominance. It was about discipline. Because discipline makes you predictable in the best way. People know you won't break your standards. People know you won't act out of character. People know you won't collapse under small pressures. And that reliability creates a different kind of authority. There is also a hidden truth about respect. It often arrives quietly. No apology. No big moment. Just a gradual change in how people treat you. The jokes become fewer. The interruptions become rarer. The dismissive attitudes become more careful. It's not always spoken, but it is always felt. Sometimes respect even comes from people who never admit it. They might still act distant. They might still pretend nothing changed. But their behavior tells the truth. They stop underestimating you. They stop trying easy tricks. They stop assuming you're unaware. Because now they know there are consequences to misjudging you. Ironically, the moment you stop chasing respect is often the moment it starts chasing you. Because when you stop performing for approval, your actions become more authentic. And authenticity is rare enough that people notice it immediately. In the end, respect is rarely given because someone asked for it. It is usually given after people realize something important through experience. After they see your patience. After they see your control. After they see your consistency. After they see that testing you didn't give them the results they expected. Because eventually, after enough observation, enough patience, and enough quiet strength, people don't just see your calmness anymore. They start seeing the consequences of underestimating it.